In a world that celebrates the loudest voices and the boldest moves, there exists an untapped wellspring of power in the quiet corners. This book is a journey into the often overlooked potential of the quieter minds among us, those who think deeply, feel intensely, and lead with subtle strength. Here, we challenge the notion that extroversion is the gold standard of success, revealing how introversion offers unique gifts that can reshape the way we live, work, and connect. Hidden strength, unlocking the potential of quiet minds, is not just a guide for introverts to thrive, but a manifesto for a more inclusive, balanced world, where every voice, loud or soft, has its rightful place. Chapter 1. The Quiet Revolution. The world has long been captivated by the energy of the extrovert, the dynamic speakers, the life-of-the-party personalities, the go-getters who dominate conversations and lead with charisma. We're taught to believe that these traits are synonymous with success, shaping societal norms, educational systems, and workplaces. Extroversion is not merely celebrated, it's idolized. But in our fixation on the loudest voices, what have we missed? What treasures lie hidden beneath the quieter exterior of introverts? This chapter explores the rise of extroversion as a societal ideal, the often overlooked strengths of introverts, and why the time has come to embrace quiet power in a noisy world. This is not a rebellion against extroversion, nor a claim that introversion is superior. It is, instead, a call for balance, a quiet revolution. Modern society's obsession with extroversion can be traced back to the dawn of industrialization and urbanization. In small agrarian communities, relationships were built over time, and a person's character mattered more than their personality. But as cities expanded and economies became increasingly competitive, first impressions and social charm took on heightened importance. The culture of character gave way to the culture of personality. Suddenly, being outgoing, charismatic, and persuasive wasn't just desirable, it became necessary to succeed. This shift found its loudest expression in the self-help movements of the 20th century, with books and seminars teaching people how to win friends and influence people. Schools encouraged children to speak up and participate, rewarding the assertive while often misunderstanding the quiet. Workplaces favored employees who networked effortlessly, spoke confidently in meetings, and marketed themselves boldly. Even leadership, once defined by wisdom and integrity, came to favor the outgoing and bold. This extrovert-centric paradigm, while beneficial in many respects, unintentionally sidelined the quieter personalities, the introspective thinkers, the deep listeners, the steady planners. Their contributions became overshadowed, their strengths undervalued. But does society thrive when it glorifies one personality type at the expense of others? Imagine a symphony where only the brass instruments play, drowning out the strings and woodwinds. While the sound might be bold and lively, it lacks depth, nuance, and harmony. This is how society functions when it overemphasizes extroversion. The quieter voices, the introverts, bring the balance needed for a full and rich melody. Introverts possess strengths that are often invisible but profoundly impactful. They are the reflective strategists who consider all angles before acting. They are the empathetic listeners who connect deeply and meaningfully with others. They are the creative minds who produce art, solutions, and innovations in solitude. Consider figures like Albert Einstein, whose quiet, contemplative nature led to revolutionary discoveries in physics, or Rosa Parks, whose silent courage sparked a movement. These individuals weren't loud, but their impact was thunderous. Their stories remind us that introverts are not less than, they are differently gifted. As technology accelerates and the world grows noisier, there is an emerging hunger for stillness and depth. People are beginning to question the frantic pace of modern life and the constant pressure to perform. In this moment of reflection, the unique strengths of introverts are becoming more visible. In workplaces, leaders are recognizing the value of thoughtful decision-making over impulsive action. In education, there is growing awareness of the need to support different learning styles, including those of introverted children who thrive in quieter, more reflective settings. And in relationships, the power of deep connection is being celebrated over superficial interactions. The rise of remote work is another catalyst for change. In virtual settings, where one's work often speaks louder than their personality, introverts have found a space to shine. They excel in focused, independent tasks and bring a calming presence to collaborative efforts. The pandemic, despite its challenges, has also shown the world the importance of solitude, a state that introverts naturally embrace and thrive in. This quiet revolution isn't about introverts taking over the world. It's about reclaiming a space that's always been theirs and reshaping societal norms to value both quiet and loud, reflective and expressive, solitary and social. It's about creating a world where people are appreciated not for how much noise they make, but for the substance they bring. To embrace quiet power, society must first unlearn its biases. The narrative that equates confidence with volume must be rewritten. Confidence is not about how loudly one speaks. It's about how deeply one believes in their message. Leadership is not about dominating the room. It's about inspiring others through vision and integrity. Creativity is not about brainstorming in loud, energetic groups. It's about allowing ideas to simmer and evolve in silence. This shift begins with recognition. Recognizing that introverts and extroverts bring complementary strengths to the table. Recognizing that success has many faces, some of which are serene and contemplative. Recognizing that diversity in personality is not a hindrance, it's an asset. The quiet revolution invites everyone, regardless of where they fall on the introvert-extrovert spectrum, to reevaluate how they see themselves and others. For introverts, it's an invitation to step into their power without pretending to be something they're not. For extroverts, it's an opportunity to celebrate and collaborate with their quieter counterparts. For society as a whole, it's a call to move beyond stereotypes and embrace a richer, more inclusive view of human potential. Chapter 2. The Science of Introversion and Extroversion. What makes some people energized by a bustling party, while others find solace in a quiet corner? Why do some thrive on spontaneity and others on careful planning? The answers lie not in simple preferences, but in the intricate workings of the human brain. Introversion and extroversion, while often treated as personality labels, are deeply rooted in biology and psychology, shaping how we perceive and interact with the world. This chapter delves into the science behind introversion and extroversion, revealing how brain chemistry, neurological processes, and environmental influences combine to create a spectrum of personalities. By understanding these mechanisms, we can appreciate not just our own nature, but also the diverse ways others experience life. At the heart of introversion and extroversion is the way the brain processes stimulation. Extroverts thrive on high levels of external stimulation, drawing energy from social interactions, new experiences, and lively environments. Their brains are wired to seek rewards, driven by a neurotransmitter called dopamine. When extroverts engage in exciting or social activities, their dopamine systems light up, creating feelings of pleasure and motivation. Introverts, on the other hand, are more sensitive to stimulation. Their brains respond to dopamine differently, often finding excessive external input overwhelming rather than energizing. Instead, introverts derive satisfaction from acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter linked to relaxation, focus, and introspection. Acetylcholine encourages calm and deep thinking, explaining why introverts often seek quiet and reflective activities. This fundamental difference in brain chemistry is neither good nor bad. It simply reflects a natural diversity in how humans are wired. Extroverts are like solar panels, energized by external light and activity, while introverts are like rechargeable batteries, requiring periods of rest to replenish their energy. Another critical player in the science of introversion and extroversion is the reticular activating system, RAS, a network in the brainstem that regulates alertness and arousal. The RAS acts as a gatekeeper, filtering sensory information and determining how much stimulation the brain receives. In introverts, the RAS tends to be more active, allowing more sensory input to flow into the brain. This heightened sensitivity makes introverts more attuned to subtle details, emotions, and nuances. However, it also means that too much stimulation, such as loud noises, crowds, or constant chatter, can quickly become overwhelming. Extroverts, by contrast, have a less sensitive RAS, requiring more external stimulation to reach the same level of alertness. This explains their preference for energetic environments and social engagement. For them, the world isn't too much, it's just right. While the terms introvert and extrovert are often used as categories, the reality is far more nuanced. Most people exist on a spectrum, exhibiting traits of both introversion and extroversion to varying degrees. Psychologists often refer to this as the introvert-extrovert continuum. Some individuals, known as ambiverts, fall near the center of this spectrum, embodying a balance of both traits. Ambiverts can adapt to different situations, thriving in social settings when needed, while also enjoying solitary moments. This fluidity underscores the idea that personality is not fixed, but flexible, shaped by both innate tendencies and life experiences. Recognizing this spectrum challenges the simplistic labels we often assign to ourselves and others. Instead of asking, "Am I an introvert or an extrovert?" we might ask, "What situations bring out the best in me?" This shift in perspective opens the door to greater self-awareness and acceptance. Beyond neurotransmitters and the RAS, other aspects of brain function contribute to the differences between introverts and extroverts. For example, studies have shown that introverts tend to have more activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making, planning, and introspection. This heightened activity aligns with introverts' propensity for deep thinking and caution. Extroverts, on the other hand, show greater activity in areas of the brain associated with reward and positive emotions. This makes them more likely to seek out and enjoy high-energy experiences, social connections, and novelty. These neurological differences also influence how introverts and extroverts approach challenges. While extroverts may dive headfirst into a new opportunity, trusting their instincts and improvising along the way, introverts often prefer to analyze, strategize, and prepare before taking action. Both approaches have their strengths, and when combined, they create a powerful synergy. While biology lays the foundation for introversion and extroversion, environment and upbringing also play crucial roles. Childhood experiences, cultural influences, and life circumstances can either reinforce or challenge our innate tendencies. For instance, a naturally introverted child raised in a culture that values outgoing behavior may learn to adapt, becoming more comfortable with social interactions while still retaining their reflective core. Conversely, an extroverted child in a reserved environment may develop greater patience and introspection, rounding out their natural exuberance. This interplay between nature and nurture reminds us that personality is not destiny. While our biology may predispose us to certain tendencies, we have the capacity to grow, adapt, and embrace the full range of human experience. Understanding the science of introversion and extroversion is not about categorizing people or determining who is better suited for success. It is about appreciating the richness of human diversity. Just as ecosystems thrive when they include a variety of species, societies flourish when they embrace a spectrum of personalities. Extroverts bring energy, enthusiasm, and connection, while introverts offer depth, thoughtfulness, and perspective. Both are essential, and neither should be undervalued. When we move beyond stereotypes and acknowledge the science behind our differences, we create a world where everyone can contribute in their unique way. In the chapters ahead, we will explore how this understanding can be applied to real life, how introverts can harness their strengths, navigate challenges, and find their place in a world that often seems tailored for extroverts. But for now, let us pause to marvel at the intricate science that makes each of us beautifully, uniquely human. Chapter 3. The myth of the ideal personality. The world often sells us a singular narrative about success. To thrive, one must be bold, outspoken, and endlessly charismatic. This ideal personality, the quintessential extrovert, has been reinforced by cultural norms, education systems, and professional environments for decades. But is this really the only, or even the best, path to success? What happens to those who don't fit this mold? This chapter unpacks the societal biases that elevate extroversion, explores how these biases shape our lives, and challenges the myth of the ideal personality. Through stories of introverts who defied expectations and reshaped their worlds, we'll see why it's time to redefine what success truly means. The preference for extroversion runs deep in modern culture, often in ways we barely notice. From an early age, children are encouraged to speak up, make friends, and participate. Classrooms reward those who raise their hands frequently and lead group activities, often overlooking quieter students who prefer to process information internally before responding. This bias extends into adulthood. Job interviews favor candidates who make a strong first impression, often valuing charm over substance. Networking events emphasize small talk and self-promotion, leaving introverts struggling to navigate these extrovert-friendly terrains. Even leadership roles are often assumed to require outgoing, dynamic personalities, perpetuating the stereotype that quiet individuals lack the confidence or charisma to inspire others. The media also plays a role, glorifying extroverted traits in movies, television, and literature. Protagonists are often gregarious and adventurous, while quieter characters are relegated to supporting roles, or worse, portrayed as socially inept or emotionally distant. This constant reinforcement of extroversion as the ideal shapes our collective mindset, creating pressure to conform and sidelining the value of quieter ways of being. This societal bias comes at a cost, not just for introverts, but for society as a whole. By undervaluing the strengths of introverts, we miss out on their potential to bring depth, thoughtfulness, and creativity to our shared challenges. Introverts often feel compelled to mask their true selves, adopting extroverted behaviors to fit in. While adaptability can be a strength, it can also be exhausting and inauthentic. This pressure to conform can lead to burnout, low self-esteem, and a diminished sense of self-worth. Instead of being celebrated for their reflective nature, introverts are often left feeling less than in a world that demands constant outward expression. On a larger scale, the overemphasis on extroversion can create environments that favor quick decisions, surface-level solutions, and competition over collaboration. Without the balance provided by introspective thinkers, teams and organizations may miss opportunities for innovation, empathy, and long-term vision. The notion of an ideal personality is deeply flawed because it assumes that one set of traits is universally better than another. In reality, the diversity of human personalities is a strength, not a weakness. The world needs extroverts to bring energy and connection, but it also needs introverts to offer insight and depth. When both are valued equally, we unlock the full potential of human collaboration. To challenge this myth, we must first question our assumptions. Is a charismatic speaker always a better leader than a quiet one? Does a quick response indicate intelligence, or is it sometimes wiser to pause and reflect? Can success be measured by the number of connections we make, or is it the quality of those connections that truly matters? By reframing these questions, we open the door to a more inclusive understanding of success, one that values substance over style and impact over image. Throughout history, countless introverts have shattered stereotypes, proving that quiet strength can lead to extraordinary achievements. Consider Mahatma Gandhi, whose calm demeanor and steadfast resolve inspired a nation to seek independence through nonviolence. His power lay not in loud rhetoric, but in his unwavering commitment to his principles. Or take J.K. Rowling, whose solitary hours of writing in cafes gave the world Harry Potter, a story that touched millions. Her creative genius was nurtured in quiet reflection, demonstrating that introversion is often the breeding ground for profound ideas. Albert Einstein, another celebrated introvert, once said, "The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind." His revolutionary contributions to science were born from deep thinking and a willingness to question established norms. These examples remind us that introversion is not a limitation. It is a different way of approaching the world, one that can lead to groundbreaking insights and transformative change. If we are to move beyond the myth of the ideal personality, we must actively reshape the way we think about success, leadership, and achievement. This starts with education, creating spaces where both introverted and extroverted children can thrive. It means designing classrooms that value listening and independent work as much as participation in group activities. In the workplace, it requires redefining leadership to include qualities like empathy, thoughtful decision-making, and the ability to inspire through quiet conviction. It means creating environments where introverts can contribute without feeling pressured to perform in ways that feel unnatural. On a societal level, it's about celebrating diversity in all its forms, not just in race, gender, and culture, but also in personality. By telling stories that highlight the strengths of introverts, we can begin to shift the narrative and inspire future generations to embrace their quiet power. Ultimately, the myth of the ideal personality is just that, a myth. There is no one-size-fits-all formula for success, no singular path to happiness, no universal standard for greatness. The sooner we let go of this illusion, the sooner we can begin to see the true value in ourselves and others. For introverts, this means reclaiming their power without apology. It means recognizing that their quietness is not a weakness, but a strength, a gift that brings balance, wisdom, and perspective to a noisy world. For extroverts, it means making space for their quieter counterparts, appreciating the depth and richness that introverts bring to the table. Together, we can create a world where personality diversity is not just accepted, but celebrated. A world where success is defined not by how loudly you speak, but by the impact of your words. Where leadership is measured not by how many follow, but by how deeply they believe. And where being true to yourself is the greatest achievement of all. Chapter 4. Quiet Strengths in Action. In a world that often equates loudness with competence and energy with success, the quiet strengths of introverts can go unnoticed, even by introverts themselves. Yet, these strengths, deep thinking, empathy, creativity, and a unique approach to problem-solving, are not just complementary to the extrovert's energy. They are essential for balance, innovation, and meaningful progress. This chapter explores the unique gifts introverts bring to the table and how these traits shine in leadership, creativity, and everyday life. Introverts are often natural deep thinkers, approaching problems and situations with deliberation and insight. They prefer to process information thoroughly, weighing different perspectives before reaching conclusions. This reflective quality allows them to uncover nuances that others might overlook. Consider the impact of deep thinking in innovation. While extroverts might thrive in brainstorming sessions with rapid-fire ideas, introverts excel in refining those ideas, identifying their potential pitfalls, and developing thoughtful strategies for implementation. Their ability to focus on the details ensures that the big picture is not just grand, but achievable. In times of uncertainty, this trait becomes even more valuable. While others may react impulsively, introverts' thoughtful approach can provide clarity and direction, helping organizations or individuals navigate complex challenges with wisdom and composure. Empathy is one of the most underappreciated strengths of introverts. Their ability to listen deeply and attune themselves to the emotions of others creates an environment of trust and understanding. This strength is not about dominating conversations or commanding attention. It's about making people feel seen, heard, and valued. In leadership, this empathetic approach is transformative. An introverted leader might not deliver fiery speeches, but their quiet attentiveness fosters collaboration, loyalty, and genuine connection within a team. By truly understanding the needs and motivations of those around them, they inspire people to contribute their best work. Empathy also drives change. Many introverts are drawn to causes that resonate with their sense of justice and humanity. Their quiet but determined efforts, whether in advocacy, counseling, or behind-the-scenes activism, often lead to profound social impact. Rosa Parks, whose quiet act of defiance sparked a civil rights movement, exemplifies the power of empathy combined with quiet resolve. Creativity thrives in solitude, and introverts often find inspiration in their moments of reflection. This is not to say that extroverts aren't creative, far from it, but the quiet environment introverts seek allows their ideas to germinate and evolve without distraction. Many groundbreaking contributions in art, science, and literature have come from introverts who found clarity and innovation in solitude. Consider Vincent van Gogh, whose introspective nature poured into his vibrant paintings, or Jane Austen, whose keen observations of human behavior translated into timeless novels. The creative process for introverts often involves deep immersion in their thoughts, allowing them to connect dots that others might not see. They are not merely creators, but also problem solvers, applying their imagination to challenges in ways that push boundaries and reimagine possibilities. Introverts are uniquely equipped to tackle problems with precision and care. Their preference for observation and analysis means they often approach challenges with a methodical mindset. They are not quick to jump to conclusions, but this deliberation ensures that their solutions are well considered and sustainable. This trait shines in fields that require attention to detail, such as medicine, engineering, or research. For example, an introverted scientist might spend years quietly investigating a theory, ultimately making discoveries that revolutionize their field. Similarly, an introverted negotiator might succeed by understanding the subtle dynamics of a situation and proposing solutions that benefit all parties. The ability to solve problems quietly and effectively makes introverts indispensable in environments that value substance over showmanship. Introverts often challenge traditional notions of leadership, proving that great leaders don't always fit the stereotype of the charismatic extrovert. Introverted leaders lead with purpose, thoughtfulness, and integrity. They don't seek attention for its own sake. Instead, they focus on creating environments where their teams can thrive. Their calm demeanor inspires confidence, especially in high-pressure situations. Rather than reacting impulsively, they take the time to assess, plan, and act with clarity. They also excel in one-on-one interactions, mentoring others with patience and care. Some of history's most effective leaders have been introverts. Abraham Lincoln, often described as reserved and reflective, led with quiet determination during one of America's most tumultuous times. His ability to listen, empathize, and think deeply helped him navigate complex challenges and inspire a nation. The contributions of introverts are often understated, but their impact is undeniable. Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple, preferred to work behind the scenes, crafting the innovative designs that laid the foundation for the company's success. Eleanor Roosevelt, known for her quiet strength, transformed the role of First Lady into a platform for social justice and human rights. These examples illustrate that introverts don't need to change who they are to succeed. Instead, they can embrace their quiet strengths, using them to create lasting change in their own unique way. The first step in harnessing quiet strengths is recognizing them as strengths. Too often, introverts downplay their abilities, internalizing societal messages that favor extroversion. By shifting this mindset, introverts can begin to see their deep thinking, empathy, creativity, and precision as powerful tools for achieving their goals. For introverts, success comes not from imitating extroverts, but from leveraging their own unique traits. This might mean seeking out environments that value depth and quality over speed and volume, or finding mentors who appreciate and nurture their potential. For the world at large, recognizing quiet strengths means creating spaces where all types of personalities can thrive. It's about valuing substance over style and understanding that the most transformative contributions often come from those who speak softly but think deeply. In a society that often prioritizes volume over value, introverts remind us that true strength doesn't always announce itself. It doesn't need to. Quiet strengths operate beneath the surface, shaping ideas, relationships, and solutions in ways that leave an enduring mark. The quiet achievers among us may not seek the spotlight, but their impact is profound. They teach us that still waters truly do run deep, and in a world that often feels chaotic and noisy, this depth is more valuable than ever. By embracing their unique strengths, introverts have the power to make a difference, not by being louder, but by being true to themselves. Chapter 5. Navigating a Loud World. The modern world is loud, fast-paced, and relentless. From the constant buzz of notifications to the societal push for self-promotion and networking, it often feels as though the world is designed for extroverts. For introverts, this noise can be overwhelming, draining, and even alienating. But the challenge of thriving in an extrovert-centric environment is not insurmountable. It requires self-awareness, strategy, and the courage to embrace one's quiet nature. In this chapter, we'll explore practical ways for introverts to navigate a world that often demands noise, providing tools for managing social interactions, setting boundaries, and conserving energy, all while staying true to who you are. Every day, introverts face subtle pressures to be louder, faster, and more outwardly engaging. Social events are framed as opportunities for networking, not connection. Meetings prioritize quick responses over thoughtful deliberation. Even leisure time is often filled with the expectation to share every moment on social media. For introverts, this relentless push to perform can lead to exhaustion. It's not just the sheer amount of noise, it's the underlying message that quietness is somehow inadequate. The challenge, then, is twofold: resisting the urge to conform while finding ways to thrive within the existing structures. The key to navigating a loud world lies in understanding and protecting your energy. Introverts recharge through solitude, reflection, and meaningful activities, while extroverts draw energy from social interactions and external stimulation. Knowing this about yourself is empowering. It helps you make choices that align with your needs rather than societal expectations. Start by recognizing situations that drain you. Is it the endless small talk at parties? The back-to-back meetings with no downtime? Once you identify these energy-draining scenarios, you can begin to manage them more effectively. This might mean leaving a gathering early, scheduling buffer time between obligations, or politely declining invitations that feel like obligations rather than opportunities. Setting boundaries is not about pushing others away. It's about creating space to be your best self. For introverts, this often means carving out quiet time in a world that prizes constant connection. Communicating your needs doesn't have to be confrontational. For example, if colleagues expect you to respond immediately in meetings, you might say, "I'd like to take some time to think this over and get back to you with a more thoughtful response." In social settings, it's okay to say, "I'm going to take a quick breather," or to excuse yourself early with honesty and politeness. Boundaries are not just about saying no, they're about saying yes to what truly matters. By protecting your time and energy, you can show up fully for the people and projects that align with your values. Social interactions can feel daunting for introverts, especially in environments where extroversion dominates. But navigating these situations doesn't require becoming someone you're not. It requires playing to your strengths. Instead of aiming to work the room at a networking event, focus on forming one or two meaningful connections. Ask thoughtful questions that show genuine interest, and listen attentively, qualities that introverts naturally excel at. These deeper conversations are often more impactful than a dozen surface-level interactions. In group settings, it's okay to participate in ways that feel authentic to you. If speaking up in a meeting feels intimidating, prepare your thoughts in advance. Use moments of quiet to contribute something meaningful, rather than feeling pressured to talk constantly. Remember, social interaction isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about connecting in a way that feels fulfilling for you and the other person. For many introverts, public speaking is a dreaded task, conjuring images of nervous stumbles and spotlight anxiety. Yet, Introverts can become compelling speakers by approaching it with preparation and authenticity. Introverts excel at storytelling and reflection, which are powerful tools for engaging an audience. Focus on crafting a message that resonates deeply with your values and your listeners. Practice extensively, not to perfect a performance, but to feel confident in your ability to share your thoughts clearly. Keep in mind that public speaking doesn't mean you have to be theatrical or boisterous. Quiet confidence, combined with thoughtful pauses and genuine passion, can be just as captivating as any high-energy delivery. For introverts, solitude is essential for recharging, but it's important to strike a balance between alone time and meaningful social interaction. Too much isolation can lead to feelings of loneliness or disconnection, while too much socializing can leave you drained. One way to balance these needs is by curating your social circle. Prioritize relationships that bring joy, understanding, and mutual respect. These connections will feel less like obligations and more like nourishment. Another strategy is to integrate restorative activities into your day. Whether it's journaling, meditating, or simply sitting quietly with a book, these moments of calm allow you to reset and approach the next interaction with renewed energy. The world's definition of success often centers around visibility and volume. Who talks the most? Who's in the spotlight? Who garners the most applause? But success for introverts looks different. It's about depth over breadth, meaning over noise. Success might be quietly mentoring a colleague who goes on to achieve great things. It might be creating a work of art that touches one person deeply, or solving a problem behind the scenes in a way that transforms lives. It's not about how many people notice you. It's about the impact you leave behind. Thriving in a loud world doesn't mean drowning out the noise. It means finding your own rhythm amidst it. By understanding your energy, setting boundaries, and approaching social interactions on your terms, you can navigate the chaos without compromising who you are. Introverts bring invaluable qualities to the table: depth, empathy, and thoughtfulness. These are not weaknesses, they are strengths the world desperately needs. By embracing your quiet power and using it with intention, you can make your mark in a way that feels true to you. In the end, navigating a loud world isn't about changing who you are. It's about honoring your nature, finding spaces that nurture you, and confidently stepping into a world that is all the richer for your quiet presence. Chapter 6. The Art of Quiet Leadership. Leadership is often associated with charisma, boldness, and an ability to dominate a room. The archetypal leader in popular imagination is someone loud, decisive, and unrelenting, a force of energy that inspires and mobilizes others. But what if leadership isn't always about commanding attention? What if it's equally about listening, reflecting, and leading with empathy and thoughtfulness? Introverts challenge the conventional narrative of leadership. They show us that true influence doesn't always require a megaphone. Sometimes, it is cultivated through quiet strength. In this chapter, we explore how introverts can redefine leadership, leveraging their unique traits to inspire, guide, and create meaningful change. The assumption that leaders must be extroverted is deeply ingrained in many cultures. Workplaces, schools, and even social groups often equate outgoing personalities with leadership potential. Yet, research and real-life examples suggest otherwise. Introverts possess a different kind of power, one rooted in introspection, focus, and deep understanding. At the heart of quiet leadership is the ability to observe and reflect. Introverts tend to think before they speak, a quality that fosters thoughtful decision-making. Their calm presence can bring stability to chaotic situations, inspiring confidence without the need for theatrics. They also excel at empowering others, creating environments where every voice is valued and collaboration thrives. One of the most overlooked traits of effective leadership is the ability to listen. Introverts are naturally inclined to tune into others, absorbing not just words, but the emotions and motivations behind them. This active listening fosters trust and encourages open communication, a foundation for strong teams and healthy relationships. By listening deeply, introverted leaders can uncover insights that others might miss. They notice patterns, detect potential conflicts early, and recognize the unique strengths of their team members. This allows them to allocate tasks strategically and cultivate a sense of belonging within their teams. For example, consider a manager navigating a challenging project. An introverted leader, through careful listening, might identify an overlooked team member with untapped potential or sense underlying tensions that could derail the project. Their quiet attentiveness becomes a critical asset, guiding the team towards success without unnecessary drama. In a world that often celebrates quick decisions, introverted leaders remind us of the value of patience and deliberation. They are less likely to act impulsively, choosing instead to weigh options, gather input, and consider long-term implications. This careful approach doesn't mean they are indecisive. It means they prioritize making informed and balanced choices. Thoughtful decision-making is especially vital in today's fast-changing world, where leaders must navigate uncertainty and complexity. By taking the time to assess risks and evaluate opportunities, introverted leaders often arrive at solutions that are both innovative and sustainable. This quality is evident in leaders like Bill Gates, who credits his introverted nature for his ability to focus deeply and think strategically. Gates' visionary leadership wasn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It was about understanding problems deeply and pursuing solutions with quiet determination. Introverted leaders understand that leadership isn't about being at the center of attention. It's about empowering others to shine. They focus on building strong, collaborative teams where everyone's contributions are valued. This inclusive approach fosters creativity, innovation, and a shared sense of purpose. Unlike leaders who dominate discussions, introverted leaders create space for diverse perspectives. They encourage quieter team members to share their ideas, recognizing that brilliance often emerges from unexpected corners. By valuing input from all, they unlock the collective potential of their teams. Consider an introverted teacher who quietly encourages a shy student to share their thoughts. That small act of empowerment can have a ripple effect, boosting the student's confidence and inspiring others to speak up. In this way, introverted leaders lead by example, showing that leadership is about lifting others rather than elevating oneself. One of the most striking qualities of introverted leaders is their quiet confidence. They don't feel the need to constantly assert their authority or dominate conversations. Instead, their confidence comes from self-awareness, competence, and a clear sense of purpose. This quiet confidence can be profoundly inspiring. It reassures others in times of crisis, providing a steady presence that anchors a team. It also models humility, showing that effective leadership is about service and responsibility rather than ego. Consider Mahatma Gandhi, an introverted leader whose quiet demeanor and unwavering commitment to nonviolence transformed a nation. Gandhi's leadership wasn't loud or forceful, but it was deeply impactful. His ability to stay grounded in his principles and listen to the needs of his people made him a beacon of hope and change. The traditional image of a leader, a charismatic extrovert who dominates the room, is gradually evolving. Organizations are beginning to recognize the value of diverse leadership styles, including the introverted approach. As this shift continues, introverts have an opportunity to step into leadership roles without feeling pressured to conform to extroverted norms. For introverts aspiring to lead, the key is authenticity. Don't try to mimic extroverted styles if they don't resonate with you. Instead, focus on leveraging your natural strengths, your ability to listen, reflect, and empower others. By leading in a way that feels true to yourself, you'll not only be more effective, but also more fulfilled. History is filled with examples of introverted leaders who achieved extraordinary things by staying true to their nature. Beyond Gandhi and Gates, leaders like Rosa Parks, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Warren Buffett exemplify the power of quiet leadership. Each of them used their introverted strengths, whether empathy, strategic thinking, or persistence, to create lasting impact. These leaders prove that introverts don't need to shout to be heard. Their influence is felt not in the volume of their voices, but in the depth of their contributions. As the world grows more complex, the need for thoughtful, empathetic, and collaborative leadership has never been greater. Introverts are uniquely equipped to meet this need, offering a style of leadership that prioritizes substance over showmanship, connection over competition, and long-term impact over short-term gains. The art of quiet leadership isn't about rejecting extroversion. It's about embracing diversity in how we define and practice leadership. By recognizing and celebrating the strengths of introverted leaders, we can create a more inclusive and effective model of leadership for the future. In the end, leadership isn't about volume. It's about vision, integrity, and the ability to inspire others. For introverts, these qualities come naturally, quietly, but powerfully. Chapter 7. Flourishing in Relationships. Human connection is a cornerstone of life, but building and maintaining relationships can feel like navigating an intricate dance, especially for introverts. The world often celebrates extroverted traits in relationships: overt expressions of affection, constant communication, and social spontaneity. Yet introverts bring something equally valuable to the table: depth, authenticity, and an unparalleled capacity for meaningful connection. In this chapter, we delve into the dynamics of relationships for introverts, offering insights into the balance between solitude and companionship, effective communication with extroverted counterparts, and the transformative power of deep, intentional bonds. While introverts might not dominate social gatherings or shower partners and friends with grand gestures, their quieter approach to relationships is no less profound. Introverts tend to prioritize quality over quantity, preferring a few close connections over a vast network of acquaintances. This focus allows them to form deep, lasting bonds rooted in trust and understanding. Introverts excel at listening, a skill that fosters empathy and mutual respect in relationships. They pick up on nuances, hear what's unsaid, and create a safe space for vulnerability. This attentiveness helps them nurture connections that go beyond surface-level interactions, making their relationships rich and fulfilling. Furthermore, introverts often bring a sense of calm and stability to relationships. Their reflective nature enables them to approach conflicts with thoughtfulness, considering both perspectives before responding. This ability to pause and process can prevent misunderstandings and strengthen trust. One of the most fascinating dynamics in relationships is the pairing of introverts and extroverts. While these differences can create challenges, they also present opportunities for growth and balance. Extroverts can introduce introverts to new experiences, while introverts can help extroverts embrace moments of stillness and reflection. The key to thriving in an introvert-extrovert relationship lies in understanding and respecting each other's needs. For example, an extroverted partner might feel energized by a bustling party, while an introverted partner might need a quiet evening to recharge. Open communication about these preferences can help both individuals find a middle ground. Rather than seeing these differences as barriers, view them as complementary strengths. Extroverts can encourage introverts to step outside their comfort zones, while introverts can provide a grounding presence that balances their extroverted counterparts' energy. Together, they can create a dynamic that combines the best of both worlds. Communication is the lifeblood of any relationship, but for introverts, it can sometimes feel like a tightrope walk. They may struggle with expressing themselves in the moment, particularly in high-stakes or emotionally charged situations. This doesn't mean they lack clarity or passion. It simply means they often process thoughts internally before sharing them. To bridge this gap, introverts can adopt strategies that play to their strengths. Writing down thoughts before a conversation, for instance, can help organize feelings and ensure that important points are conveyed. Meanwhile, asking open-ended questions allows for meaningful dialogue without the pressure of constant talking. For extroverted friends or partners, patience is key. Giving introverts the time and space to articulate their thoughts leads to richer, more authentic exchanges. On the flip side, introverts can work on expressing their needs directly, ensuring that their quietness isn't misinterpreted as disinterest or withdrawal. For introverts, relationships are less about frequent interactions and more about the quality of those connections. They thrive on meaningful conversations, shared understanding, and moments of genuine intimacy. This depth is their superpower, enabling them to form bonds that are enduring and transformative. However, cultivating these connections requires effort, especially in a world that often prioritizes busyness over presence. Introverts must consciously carve out time to nurture their relationships, even as they honor their need for solitude. This might mean scheduling regular one-on-one time with loved ones or being intentional about expressing appreciation and affection. The beauty of these deep connections is that they often transcend the need for constant affirmation. Introverts and their closest companions develop a quiet understanding, a sense of being seen and valued that doesn't always require words. One of the most misunderstood aspects of introverts in relationships is their need for alone time. This isn't a rejection of the other person. It's a vital form of self-care that allows introverts to recharge and show up fully in their relationships. Educating partners, friends, and family about this need can prevent misunderstandings. A simple explanation, "I need some time to recharge so I can be my best self with you," can go a long way in fostering mutual respect. At the same time, introverts must ensure that their need for solitude doesn't turn into isolation. Maintaining a balance between self-care and connection is essential. No relationship is without its challenges, and introverts face unique hurdles. They might struggle with feeling overshadowed by more outgoing counterparts, or feel drained by too much social interaction. Conflict, too, can be particularly taxing, as introverts may avoid confrontation to preserve peace. The key to navigating these challenges is self-awareness. Recognizing triggers and learning to address them proactively can prevent small issues from escalating. For example, an introvert who feels overwhelmed by a social event can communicate their limits in advance, ensuring they don't overextend themselves. In conflicts, introverts can use their reflective nature to their advantage. Taking a step back to process emotions before responding allows for thoughtful, constructive dialogue. Over time, this approach fosters a sense of safety and mutual respect within the relationship. Introverts bring a unique and irreplaceable strength to relationships. Their ability to listen deeply, connect authentically, and navigate challenges with thoughtfulness enriches every bond they form. By embracing their natural tendencies and communicating openly with others, introverts can build relationships that are not only fulfilling, but transformative. In a world that often values noise and volume, introverts remind us of the power of presence and intentionality. Their quiet strength is a gift, a foundation for relationships that are as deep as they are enduring. By honoring this gift, introverts can flourish in their connections, creating a ripple effect of understanding, compassion, and love. Chapter 8: Creating Spaces for Quiet. The modern world is an orchestra of noise, a symphony of notifications, meetings, crowded spaces, and endless demands. Amid this cacophony, introverts often find themselves yearning for stillness, a space where they can think, reflect, and recharge. But in a society that thrives on constant interaction and productivity, carving out quiet spaces is both an act of self-preservation and resistance. For introverts, quiet isn't just a preference, it's a necessity. Solitude allows them to process thoughts deeply, regain energy, and foster creativity. Without moments of quiet, introverts can feel overwhelmed, their inner worlds eclipsed by external demands. Quiet spaces provide the mental clarity needed to navigate life's complexities. They serve as a counterbalance to the overstimulation of daily life, offering a place to breathe and reconnect with one's inner self. These spaces aren't about isolation. They're about cultivating a sense of peace that equips introverts to engage with the world on their terms. However, quiet is increasingly hard to come by. Open-plan offices, relentless social obligations, and the ever-present digital hum can make solitude feel like a luxury rather than a right. This scarcity makes the intentional creation of quiet spaces all the more vital. Creating a quiet space starts with understanding your needs. For some, it might mean a physical room filled with books, soft lighting, and comforting textures. For others, it could be a mental practice, meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in nature. The goal is to cultivate an environment that feels restorative and free of distractions. Begin with your immediate surroundings. Your home, for instance, should have at least one area where you can retreat. This might be a cozy reading nook, a minimalist meditation corner, or even a space by a window where you can daydream. Decorate this space with items that bring you peace: plants, candles, or personal mementos. Workspaces, too, can be modified to support quiet. Noise-canceling headphones, a tidy desk, or even strategic scheduling of focus hours can transform a chaotic environment into one that supports deep work and reflection. For those who share their living or working spaces, communicate your need for quiet time. Explain how solitude helps you recharge, and work together to establish boundaries that respect everyone's needs. While personal sanctuaries are essential, the value of quiet spaces extends to communal environments. Public spaces often cater to extroverted behaviors: vibrant cafes, bustling co-working hubs, and noisy recreational areas. Yet, there is a growing recognition of the need for calm, contemplative spaces in these settings. Libraries, for example, remain a haven for introverts, offering silence and solitude in a shared environment. Similarly, parks and gardens provide an opportunity to connect with nature and find stillness amidst urban chaos. These spaces remind us that quiet doesn't have to mean isolation. It can be a shared experience. Workplaces, too, can adopt designs that accommodate introverts. While open-plan offices might foster collaboration, they can also lead to overstimulation. Introducing quiet zones, soundproof pods, or flexible remote work policies can create a more inclusive environment. These changes benefit everyone, not just introverts, by enhancing focus and reducing stress. Introverts thrive on solitude, but humans are inherently social creatures. The key lies in balancing time spent alone with meaningful interactions. Quiet spaces help introverts recharge so they can engage with others fully and authentically. It's important to recognize that solitude is not selfish. Taking time for oneself enables deeper connections with others by fostering emotional resilience and self-awareness. Introverts can navigate this balance by scheduling downtime around social commitments, ensuring they have the energy to be present in their relationships. Similarly, introverts can seek out environments that encourage low-stimulation social interactions. Small gatherings, intimate cafes, or shared creative activities often align better with their preferences than loud parties or networking events. By choosing settings that resonate with their nature, introverts can maintain a sense of equilibrium. In the digital age, quiet spaces aren't just about physical environments. They also involve setting boundaries with technology. Smartphones, social media, and constant connectivity can intrude on moments of solitude, leaving little room for introspection. Introverts can reclaim their quiet spaces by being intentional about their digital habits. This might involve setting aside device-free time, curating social media feeds to minimize noise, or using apps that encourage mindfulness and focus. By controlling how they interact with technology, introverts can protect their mental space and reduce overstimulation. Creating spaces for quiet isn't just an individual effort, it's a cultural imperative. Societies that value constant activity often overlook the profound benefits of stillness. Yet, movements advocating for mindfulness, minimalism, and slow living suggest a growing appetite for quiet in a noisy world. Institutions and communities can support this shift by prioritizing spaces that encourage reflection. Schools, for example, could incorporate quiet zones for students to decompress. Workplaces might adopt policies that respect introverts' needs, such as optional social events or remote work flexibility. Urban planning can include more parks, meditation rooms, and spaces designed for tranquility. These changes not only benefit introverts but also foster inclusivity, creativity, and mental well-being for all. When introverts create spaces for quiet, both physically and emotionally, they unlock their full potential. Solitude becomes a wellspring of creativity, clarity, and resilience. It allows them to navigate life's challenges with grace and to connect with others in meaningful ways. But quiet isn't just for introverts. It's a universal need, a reminder that life's most profound moments often happen in stillness. By advocating for quiet spaces, introverts contribute to a broader cultural shift, one that values reflection as much as action and presence as much as productivity. Ultimately, creating spaces for quiet is an act of empowerment. It's a way for introverts to honor their nature, reclaim their energy, and inspire a world that celebrates the power of stillness. In these spaces, introverts don't just survive, they thrive. Chapter 9. Raising Quiet Kids in a Loud World. The modern world can be overwhelming for anyone, but for quiet children, it often feels like an uphill climb. From boisterous classrooms to competitive extracurriculars, many environments seem designed to reward the loudest voices while overlooking the quieter ones. Yet, quiet children possess remarkable strengths, creativity, thoughtfulness, and a deep capacity for understanding that can flourish if nurtured in the right way. This chapter is a guide for parents, educators, and mentors to support quiet kids in navigating a noisy world. It's about creating a balance between encouraging self-expression and respecting their natural tendencies. By honoring their quiet nature, we can help them build confidence, develop their unique gifts, and thrive in environments that often undervalue stillness. Quiet children are often labeled as shy, reserved, or even aloof, but these labels fail to capture the depth of their inner worlds. A quiet child might be an observant thinker, soaking in details that others overlook. They might express themselves through art, writing, or one-on-one conversations instead of public displays. Their silence doesn't signify a lack of ideas. It reflects a preference for processing and sharing at their own pace. Recognizing a quiet child means tuning into their subtleties. Notice how they light up during activities they enjoy, or how they express themselves when they feel safe. Understand that their silence isn't a flaw to be fixed, but a part of who they are. Quiet children often encounter challenges in environments designed for extroverts. In school, participation grades may favor the outspoken, leaving introverted students feeling overlooked. Group projects, crowded lunchrooms, and fast-paced lessons can be overstimulating. Teachers may mistake a quiet demeanor for disengagement or a lack of confidence. At home, well-meaning parents might worry that their child isn't socializing enough, unintentionally pressuring them to come out of their shell. Such pressure can make quiet kids feel that their natural tendencies are wrong, leading to self-doubt. The societal narrative that equates success with outgoing personalities compounds these challenges. Quiet children may grow up feeling like they need to change to fit in, instead of embracing their strengths. The key to supporting quiet kids is to build their confidence while respecting their nature. Confidence doesn't mean turning them into extroverts. It means helping them feel secure in who they are. 1. Celebrate their strengths. Highlight the qualities that make them unique, such as their creativity, empathy, or problem-solving skills. Show them that their quiet nature is a strength, not a limitation. 2. Encourage, don't push. Instead of pressuring quiet kids to participate in loud, high-energy activities, encourage them to explore environments where they feel comfortable. For example, they might enjoy art classes, chess clubs, or nature outings more than team sports or drama clubs. 3. Model self-acceptance. Children learn from example. When they see adults embracing their own personalities, they're more likely to do the same. Share stories of successful introverts who made a difference by staying true to themselves. Quiet kids often need time and space to feel comfortable sharing their thoughts. Creating a safe, supportive environment is crucial for helping them open up. 1. One-on-one conversations. Many quiet kids thrive in smaller, more intimate settings. Engage them in one-on-one conversations where they can express themselves without the pressure of an audience. 2. Encourage creative outlets. Writing, drawing, or playing music can provide quiet kids with powerful tools for self-expression. These activities allow them to communicate their feelings and ideas in ways that feel natural. 3. Respect their boundaries. Pay attention to their comfort levels. If they're hesitant to join a group activity, don't force them. Instead, offer alternatives that align with their interests. While it's important to honor a child's quiet nature, it's equally essential to equip them with the skills to thrive in louder, more extroverted settings. These skills can help them balance their need for solitude with the demands of a social world. 1. Practice social scenarios. Role-playing can help quiet kids prepare for situations that feel intimidating, like introducing themselves to new people or speaking up in class. This practice builds confidence without overwhelming them. 2. Teach energy management. Help them recognize when they need to recharge and how to set boundaries. For example, they can learn to excuse themselves for a break during social events without feeling guilty. 3. Normalize discomfort. Reassure them that it's okay to feel nervous or awkward sometimes. Emphasize that everyone has moments of discomfort and that these feelings don't define their worth. Parents and educators can work together to create supportive learning environments for quiet kids. Teachers play a crucial role in ensuring that introverted students feel valued and included. 1. Rethink participation grades. Encourage teachers to assess participation in ways that don't disadvantage quiet students. For instance, written reflections or one-on-one discussions can provide alternative ways to demonstrate engagement. 2. Create inclusive activities. Design group projects that allow for a variety of roles, such as researchers or organizers, so that quiet kids can contribute without being forced into the spotlight. 3. Foster empathy among peers. Teach all students to appreciate different personalities. Promote activities that celebrate diversity and encourage mutual respect. When quiet kids are given the tools and support they need, they can thrive in extraordinary ways. Their deep thinking and unique perspectives often lead to innovative ideas and profound contributions. By fostering their confidence and creating environments where they feel safe to be themselves, we unlock their full potential. Quiet kids don't need to be louder to succeed. They need to be heard, understood, and celebrated for who they are. In a noisy world, their stillness is a gift, a reminder that depth and reflection have a place in every aspect of life. By honoring their quiet nature, we teach them, and ourselves, that success comes in many forms, and all of them are valid. Chapter 10. Celebrating the Power of Quiet. In a world that celebrates the loud, the fast, and the visible, quiet individuals are often undervalued. Yet, beneath the stillness, there lies a deep well of strength, one that has been overlooked for too long. Introverts, the quiet thinkers, the calm observers, hold within them the potential to create profound change. Their power is not found in grand gestures or public declarations, but in their ability to listen, reflect, and approach the world with intentionality. This chapter is an invitation to embrace and celebrate the power of quiet. It is a call to reframe how we view introversion, to understand that being quiet does not equate to being passive or insignificant. Quiet strength is a force in its own right, a strength rooted in depth, introspection, and resilience. Across history, introverts have shaped the world in ways that often go unnoticed. They are the philosophers, writers, scientists, and artists who have illuminated our path with their quiet wisdom. Their impact is not measured in decibels, but in ideas that resonate deeply within the human spirit. Consider Albert Einstein, who transformed our understanding of physics while leading a life of relative solitude. Or Maya Angelou, whose words continue to inspire millions, not because she shouted, but because she spoke with profound authenticity. These quiet achievers remind us that the most significant contributions often come from those who do not seek the spotlight, but instead illuminate it with quiet brilliance. This is the quiet revolution, the shift from celebrating extroverted qualities to honoring the quiet strengths that introverts possess. It's a revolution that values reflection over reaction, thoughtfulness over haste, and depth over surface-level noise. In our culture, success is often equated with visibility, being seen, heard, and noticed. Loudness is rewarded, whether in the form of speaking up in meetings, taking center stage, or being the life of the party. Yet success is not a one-size-fits-all concept. For introverts, success is found in the pursuit of personal fulfillment, in deep connections, and in the quiet achievements that may not make headlines but have lasting impact. Introverts thrive in environments where they can work deeply, think critically, and contribute in ways that may not be immediately apparent. Their success often comes in the form of thoughtful leadership, innovative problem-solving, and the ability to listen in a world that is often too eager to talk. It's time to redefine success, not as a loud spectacle, but as a quiet triumph of authenticity, creativity, and inner strength. In a world that never stops, stillness is a radical act. Yet it is in moments of stillness that we often find our greatest clarity. For introverts, this stillness is a source of immense power. It is where they reconnect with their inner selves, reflect on their experiences, and cultivate the deep thinking that drives innovation. Stillness allows introverts to process the world around them with greater depth. While others may be swept away by the noise, introverts sit in quiet reflection, taking the time to understand, analyze, and interpret. This ability to think deeply is what enables them to offer solutions that are nuanced, thoughtful, and impactful. Stillness also cultivates resilience. In a society that encourages constant motion, quiet individuals have learned the art of pausing, of stepping back when necessary, and of taking the time to recover before moving forward. This inner fortitude enables them to navigate life's challenges with grace, knowing that true strength is not about constant movement, but about knowing when to pause and recharge. One of the most powerful qualities of quiet individuals is their ability to listen. In a world dominated by noise, the act of truly listening has become a rare and invaluable gift. Quiet people have the ability to listen deeply, not just to words, but to emotions, intentions, and unspoken truths. This level of listening fosters empathy, understanding, and connection in ways that surface-level communication cannot. By listening without the need to dominate a conversation, introverts create space for others to speak and be heard. They provide a sense of validation to those around them, making others feel valued and understood. This quiet yet profound form of leadership encourages collaboration and nurtures an environment where ideas can flow freely. Listening also allows introverts to absorb the nuances of a situation before responding. Their insights are often well considered, measured, and thoughtful, making them exceptional problem solvers and decision makers. In a world that often values quick answers, introverts remind us that the most impactful solutions come from thoughtful contemplation. When we think of leaders, we often picture outgoing, charismatic figures who thrive on attention. However, the most effective leaders are not necessarily the loudest voices in the room, but the ones who lead with integrity, empathy, and vision. Quiet leaders harness the power of listening, observation, and reflection to inspire others and guide them toward a common goal. Introverted leaders excel in creating environments that foster trust and collaboration. They do not lead with force, but with humility, using their ability to listen and empower others to create collective success. Their leadership is often marked by a sense of calm certainty, a steady presence that instills confidence even in the most uncertain times. The quiet leader knows that true influence is not about dominating the conversation or being in the spotlight. It's about creating space for others to contribute, making thoughtful decisions, and fostering a culture of respect and collaboration. Quiet strength does not always demand recognition, but its impact is undeniable. Every small act of quiet courage, every thoughtful conversation, every moment of reflection has a ripple effect that can change the world. When introverts embrace their true selves and contribute their unique gifts, They create a positive influence that extends far beyond themselves. Introverts inspire others simply by being who they are. Their quiet strength encourages us all to slow down, listen more attentively, and value depth over surface-level accomplishments. When introverts thrive, they create spaces where others, introverts and extroverts alike, are encouraged to be authentic and true to their own strengths. It's time to celebrate the power of quiet. It's time to honor introverts for the depth, creativity, and resilience they bring to the world. It's time to recognize that strength is not always loud, and that greatness does not require a microphone. Quiet individuals are not weak. They are the silent architects of change, the thoughtful visionaries, and the steady leaders who transform the world in their own unique way. In a world that too often rewards noise, it's crucial that we celebrate and uplift those whose power lies in stillness. Quiet strength is not something to be fixed or diminished. It is something to be honored, embraced, and celebrated. Let us shift the cultural narrative and make space for quiet people to thrive. For in doing so, we create a world where everyone, regardless of their volume, can make a meaningful impact. Conclusion. In the end, it's clear that quiet minds hold a unique and invaluable strength in our world. Their depth, resilience, and wisdom are often overshadowed by the relentless noise of our fast-paced, extrovert-centric society. But when we pause, when we truly listen, when we embrace the quiet, we find something extraordinary, an untapped reservoir of insight, creativity, and compassion. Introverts, quiet thinkers, and those who find power in stillness offer us a new way of seeing, a new way of understanding. They remind us that true strength is not always found in the spotlight, but rather in the calm, reflective spaces where we can connect with our truest selves and the world around us. As we shift our focus from the loud and visible to the quiet and profound, we open doors to a more inclusive, more empathetic, and more connected world. A world where everyone can find their own form of strength and contribute their own unique gifts.